Okay, another week. We need a lot of weeks to get better at what we're doing. Last week's game wasn't what we would have hoped. You know, a lot of production was there, a lot of improvement in some areas. It just seems like we can't get any consistency out of our offense. Plus, we turned the ball over, and a couple of plays pretty much decided that game. The blocked field goal, which shouldn't have been, because that's a penalty of what happened, how they did it. But, you know, it still goes against you, and that was pretty much a 14-point swing. And then you can't turn the ball over on the ground and let them pick it up and score. A team that hadn't scored a lot of points, knowing that we would play pretty good defensively, we just I'm not going to say give the game away, but we kicked it away. We weren't able to be productive. If you look at our stats and things that we're doing, it looks like we're playing pretty good football until you get the one area of turnovers and the miscellaneous parts of having the turnovers for touchdowns. So we as we do every week, we go back and look at what we did right, what we did wrong, what we need to do to fix it. We really don't need to worry about the other teams we're playing right now. They're not as big a factor as we are. We have been our own worst enemy in the last few weeks. So offensively, our consistency hadn't been there. We didn't run the ball near as well as we would have hoped. In the last game, I think we barely cleared 100 yards, which was our least productive of the year. And when that happens, it forces you to throw the ball. Now, that was the best defense we've seen thus far, but that makes no difference. We'll see better defenses as we go, and we've got to be a lot more productive and consistent of moving the ball down the field on long drives and scoring on long drives. We can't. You like to score in 4 or 5 plays, but there's going to be some games you're going to have to make 8, 12-play drives and punch the ball in the end zone and keep your defense off the field, and that hadn't been the fact in the last few games. So we look at offensive line. Offensive line is we're struggling. It's obvious we're not blocking and protecting the way that we should. Our guys are working at it. We changed centers last week in midstream, which is hard to do. And when you do that and you have the amount of plays, which I think Sam Longo had 35 to 40 plays at center, he's not going to be perfect. And in some tough situations, we didn't have the best snap or the most consistent snap that the quarterback would like. And that's going to throw your timing off somewhat. So we're trying to work all those areas out on the offensive line. We've got to be more productive at running back. And one of the interceptions looked like it was an overthrown ball, but it wasn't. It was just a receiver not running the right route as fast as he should, as he does in practice. And so all those factors means that our execution is not very good. And so we've got to get better, and we're working on that each and every day and trying new things. The offense is not that complex, very similar. A lot of it is very similar to what they've been running here for several years, and we're just not being very productive. So we're going to keep on keeping on, make a few changes, and do a few things different to try to make it better. Defensively, we look pretty good, but again, we played an offense that was not one of the better offenses that we'll see this year. And I was very disappointed, though, in third down in a lot of the situations. We should not have given up 4 field goals. There was sometimes when we had 3rd, 6, 7, we let them continue to drive on after giving up a conversion, and they moved it down and got a field goal. So had we have played better defense on third down, we'd have won the football game, 20-14 or whatever. But again, ifs don't count. So there's a lot of factors in there. It's not just offense, not just defense. Kicking game, obviously, missed an extra point, had one blocked. The high point of the game was our punter is getting better and better, which is going to help down the stretch. So we can't go out there and just work on one phase of our football team. We have to work on everything, and we have to work on our depth. We've got to keep getting better in the secondary, which is a very young group of guys. Our pass rush needs to get better. So saying that, going into this game against Temple, we really don't know what to expect from their offense. They're changing quarterbacks. He played a half last week against Louisville. He's very mobile, runs around. They spread the ball around on offense. He had a pretty good half of football in terms of being the second and third quarterback for most of the year. And so we'll just have to prepare for a little bit of everything as we go in defensively. Their defense, they don't do a lot. They're very similar to us. They're a 4-man front. They're very basic. They're going to try to make you drive the football, make you turn it over, and just be stingy. When it comes to giving up a consistent drive, in which we have not proven yet that we're very consistent at doing. So, should be a good game. Friday night, different time, late, 8:36 kickoff, ESPN, and it's going to be a situation where a routine will be changed. Hopefully that doesn't disrupt anything, but we just got to go play a football game. We got to go play for 4 quarters. We've got to start faster on offense, because if you look at what we've done, we have started very slow in every game offensively. And I don't know whether we looked at every scenario, and it just something different happens on each and every drive that we start the game out with. So we've got to play better at the beginning of the game, play with more emotion. Last week I didn't wear a headset the first half. Hopefully I could get around the guys, encourage them a lot more, help a little bit in terms of adjustments in the first half. And I've never done that before, but I think sometimes you need to do that and show them that instead of listening to coaches, you listen to players. And I think those things bring up a lot better attitude on the sideline with your football team. So we're excited about getting back out there. It's again, we hadn't hit the halfway point. This is the halfway point this week in our football season, and hadn't shown a lot of improvement from the first of the year. Hopefully we can show much more improvement going in the second half. Questions?
Both your block field goals came right up the gut. You just mentioned that there was a problem with that second one from a legality standpoint. Plus, what happened at block field goal?
Well, you can't leap into the line. You got to go straight up. If you watch our guys, we go straight up, and their guy came across the line of scrimmage. You can't fall on anybody, your teammates or your own teammates. And it was obvious that happened, and it was just missed. And it gives you a huge advantage because you get penetration, but it's also it was put into the rules because of a safety precaution of guys, jumping up and over and falling on guys and getting hurt. And that's just, those things happen. So, hopefully, there's no bringing it back. It's one thing that was done, and it worked for them, and we just got to go on with it.
Your timeouts, you used your second one. You were up down 26-20. You used your second one after the kickoff team on the field. What happened that caused you to have to use that second time?
We have several onside kicks without an option to change. That one was definitely not going to work in how they aligned. And we do that. We've done that. I've done that before. And it's obvious you only have one opportunity. And so the best opportunity of getting that ball back is to have your best one called. We're looking at options of ways to call them once you get out there on the field, but it's just hard because you change different personnel, and they won't let you do that once you get out there. So that was the reason. We had something else called that their alignment said, hey, a normal onside kick's like 2 to 3 out of 10, your chances. This one was going to be like 0, maybe 1 out of 10. And so we said, hey, let's use timeout and go with the odds and change it, but it still didn't work. Yeah, Tion looked good last week, and he got off to a slow start mentally, learning the offense, but he's gotten rep after rep. He's worked with the first, second, and third group all year long. He's fresh. His legs are fresh. You can tell. Ralph Abernathy is one of those that he goes full speed all the time, as we all know, practicing in games, and we worked him pretty hard, and he's not near as fresh as what Tion is. And Tion carries a little bit bigger load. I'd say about 35 more pounds. So we're going to use him more and more. We'll still have some same rotation. Jose made an obvious mistake last week on one play where he thought it was supposed to go inside, but it was supposed to go outside, and that's where he just ran right into the lineman instead of breaking it to the outside. But those are just inexperienced things with running the ball out of the backfield. And again, a little bit of timing issue with change of center. It's not like you're taking the ball underneath the center and taking the snap and going your way. The quarterback gets the ball in different areas, and that's going to slow your timing down. So hopefully this week we'll get Sam a lot more snaps. We haven't decided yet where he'll start, but we've got him a lot more snaps at center, trying to work those details out, along with Boyd, who has been our starter in the first 5 games.
Statistically, you rank 4th in the country in total defense. You mentioned the problem on third down. How do you feel your defensive play overall?
I'd rate them probably a C plus B. We haven't played offenses like we're getting ready to play. They're going to get a lot better. You know, the group last week hadn't scored a lot of points, and then they lost their quarterback and their best running back in the first quarter, at least the first half, and that put them in a tailspin. I judge us on how quickly we get us back on the field, and we blew about 4 or 5 third down conversions. When our defense is good enough to this point, it should have been in that game to say, hey, you know, 3 and out, offense back out there, give us more opportunities. But we continue to give them drives and time on the clock, which hurts your production on offense. So we're getting better. Again, we've gotten like 7 new starters on offense from last year, guys that are learning how to play. We play a lot of defensive linemen. Our secondary is still, you know, a work in progress, moving guys over from running back and receiver to play corner after we had a few injuries in the secondary. We're starting to come around a little bit, but we're not there yet. We'll get some tests coming up down the road. We'll find out, you know, what we're really about.
So you think those numbers are too deep in the country because of the competition?
Yeah, a little bit. If you go back and look now, the one game that we played a little bit better competition in terms of players on offense was Illinois, and we gave up over 600 yards, and you're not going to win many games doing that. So we're going to play in the next, we got 7 games left. At least 4 of those will be rated pretty high offensively, and we'll get better tests as we go. Now, we're tackling much better. Our guys know the schemes better. We created that turnover very early, but we've got to create more turnovers. And it's just you got to feel comfortable in what you're doing. So we haven't changed a lot. Each week we're pretty much doing the same things, and we're playing, I'd say, 25 guys on defense instead of, you know, 17 or 18, which is going to help us down the stretch. But we've got so many young guys that go in there in our nickel and our dime packages, and we've got some things we're going to have to put in for these passing teams coming up that we're already started working on. So we're decent on defense. We're not where we could be, which is good. We're playing pretty good, and we've got a lot of room for improvement.
Adam Dempsey is a guy who earned a scholarship from you guys
This year.
Yeah, this year. What have you seen from him? Why? How did he earn that in your eyes?
Well, he's a senior, and you can tell he's got a lot more confidence than a lot of these younger guys that are freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and sophomores. And he's been in some battles. He's hard-nosed. I mean, the one thing about Adam, and he's been beat up. He's in that training room every day, and now he's really liking having the opportunity to play more and more. And so he's a guy that you know what you're going to get out of him. He's going to give it all he's got. He's going to let you know when he's tired. He needs to come out of the game, and good players do that. But the big thing about Adam, again, is he's just got confidence that he can play on this level. And I think he hasn't played a whole lot over the years, but the times he's had has given him some experience to go out there and compete with the other guys. But he hadn't been a surprise, but he's been I'd say a pleasant surprise of his improvement over the last I'd say 4 or 5 weeks.
When you first came in, you said you didn't watch a lot of tape guys from past years. You didn't want any preconceived notions.
Right.
Is he kind of a really good example of don't look at previous faces. You don't know how he's going to translate for you guys.
Yeah, and you know the biggest over my years of coaching college football, the biggest transition of improvement is from your sophomore to junior and junior to senior year, because again you feel like you know what you're doing. I mean, you fit in better. It's not something that you know when you go out there. These guys are going to be like you. They're not 4 or 5 years older. They're the same age, you know, and you just got to build that confidence, and you got to build that maturity as a football player. And I think that's a prime example of Adam knowing that he can compete with anybody he plays with. And I tell you, he's the most physical guy. He and Step, when they're both those, they're the most 2 physical guys that we've got on the team that will bring it every snap. Now, again, both of them's got to come out, because of their size and their stature, but they've really both have helped this defense.